Again, this is a continuation of our series from the book, Professional Guide to Grant Writing. We're covering grant writing tips. Our number one grant writing tip is collecting your information. Our number two grant writing tip was to be realistic. The number three grant writing tip is to be sincere. We could also add accuracy. Accuracy is really very important. Making sure that the data that you quote in the grant proposals is up to date. Data that is older than 12 months should not be used. You can always write a reference from a newspaper according to the New York Times, according to the LA Times, according to, could be from an organization such as the Teachers Union, or according to the American Medical Association. Those are better methods of demonstrating statistics than using stats that are outdated. So you want to be as current as possible. So that's where accuracy comes in. And of course, you want to be sincere. Nothing sells like sincerity. Start by, in a short sentence, describing how the founders decided to do something about an apparent need. Let's say a need for children to be vaccinated in Dominican Republic, or the need for another orphanage in Nigeria for AIDS orphans, which is a huge problem. If the founders did not feel sincere compassion for the people that are known as the service population, then they would have never invested their precious time and money into founding an organization that will meet those needs. So yes, be passionate, be accurate, be sincere when you're writing a grant proposal. And it's very easy to get weighed down by the negativity of the subject. And that's where a good grant writer digs deep and comes up with information that will convey to a funding source that this organization has the passion and ability to get this job done as described in this grant proposal. So your grant proposal is not supposed to be too complicated. Keep it simple. You cannot focus on too many things. You can have a clinic, and on the back side of the clinic, or in one room of the clinic, you can have a small school. But you cannot have a clinic, a small school, and a veterinary hospital. Or a clinic, a small school, and a lumber mill. You have to focus. Your grant proposals must be written to focus on 2 or 3 main points that are connected. Education is connected to healthcare. The more educated a population is, the better their health. And this is a universal theme, a universal fact. Know exactly, as close as possible, how many people are in your client's service population. How many people can your clients serve in a given program in 1 year, in 12 months? Because that figure needs to be identified in your cover letter, and that figure needs to be divided by the amount of money you're asking for. So you come up with a per person fee. It costs $10 for us to provide training in introduction to website design per person, with a 100 person per day minimum. So it's 2 classes of 50, $10 a day, a person. Because our financial requirement is what? It's $1,000 a day, so that we can have money to give to our nonprofit clients. So we walk away with $500 a day, and the expenses are absorbed from the fee. Very, very, very few grant writing organizations will have a built-in sustainability component for their clients. But I'm here to tell you that we raise money for our clients in many different ways. Back to education and healthcare. A lot of people, residents that reside in an organization's service population, are illiterate. They cannot read and they cannot write. So there's a very, very basic need in many service population areas for literacy. How can that be seamlessly integrated into a grant proposal or into an organization where it makes perfect sense? There has to be a connection. Of course, there would be a connection between, let's say, a grant proposal that incorporates organic farming for a clinic for a disadvantaged area where people are struggling to feed their families. Unfortunately, that scenario is true in the United States, because we have people living in subway stations, not just people, families living in subway stations because mom or dad lost their job and they're unable to find housing. This is a very serious problem. And unfortunately, a lot of people are very compassionate about it, but they're not very prepared to follow through on their passion to provide low-income families with housing. So, as a grant writer, everyone associated with our company should be referring each grant writing client to their local foundation center for classes. Every client should be reading. Every client should be learning. And if that client is not reading, if that client is not learning, if that client is not networking, then that client is not going to succeed. Which is not that good for us because we offer a money-back guarantee. But there is more involved in just writing a grant proposal. If the client doesn't have the expertise needed to execute the program or to operate the program, and they cannot demonstrate that they do in writing, then they have to be advised to add someone to their organization that can do that. If they don't have a member of their organization that can fill the needs of the mission, then they stand a very poor chance of fulfilling their mission. And all they've done with grant money is wasted grant money. There are too many people that start nonprofit organizations with the expectation that it's going to create a job for them and their friends. And there's a lot of hard work involved to that point, and very seldom people that don't genuinely care don't have the kind of energy that it takes to sustain that. And it will show in the grant proposal, in the programs that are developed. Does this person really care, or are they just looking for a paycheck? So it's up to grant writers to let your clients know, or our clients know, that they have to be walking the walk and talking the talk. If you want to help people, don't wait for a grant to start helping.